So now that you've established your financial goals, you've developed the financial literacy to make sure that your team is managed efficiently and effectively, you need to, well, go make money. You can protect your money, but if you have no money to protect, then what's the point? Here you have to find the glitches in the system. Money glitches. Money glitches are real, dude. I literally sit down with billionaires and these guys understand how to print money. There are money glitches, but these glitches have to originate from some sort of cause. Cause equals effect. And you can influence the effect through action, but you need to be able to figure out what is the cause of a problem and where can you provide a solution. There's a couple gaps in the marketplace, and I want to mention 4 of them. So in this concept of the money gap, the first gap between a person that has money and is willing to expend that money for something else is your access gap. People are willing to pay for access. So if you want to make money, you must be willing to provide access, to be a bridge, to be some sort of toll collecting system. It's extremely important because access is something that holds power. If you hold the keys, well, then people can pay you to get in the door. Access is important. So many people are willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars to get into an event, or pay millions of dollars to buy a specific vehicle that will give them access to a club, or donate millions of dollars to a nonprofit organization that will give them access to a special dinner with a billionaire that will give them access to a specific club or a room. If you want to gain access to high opportunities, you need to be able to find gaps. First gap is the access gap. The second gap is the time gap. People are willing to pay to save time. Aren't you? You wouldn't be willing to pay a premium for food delivery? You do. You wouldn't be willing to pay a premium for an Uber as opposed to waiting 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes for a taxi, having to pay cash? You do. People are willing to pay for the time gap. That's why people fly in private jets. Most people don't fly in private jets just because it's comfortable. The plane itself, right? There's no real difference between a first class and a private jet. You're still sitting in a seat, but there's a time experience, right? There's a time gap that you're able to satisfy. So remember here, guys, the framework of this data set is now that you can protect your estate, you need to build your estate, so you need to make money. So you need to find these access points, these glitches, these anomalies in order to make money. You need to find these gaps. If you satisfy the market, if you're able to provide value for something that is missing, then you can make a lot of money. The next one is the information gap. People are willing to pay for premium information, whether it's Wall Street, whether it's governments paying for intel and paying spies and building organizations that build satellites to spy on different countries. People are willing to pay for information. I know this because I myself pay tens of thousands of dollars every single year for mentors and coaches and people that are willing to help me level up. Why? Because you're not just paying for information, you're paying for experience and knowledge and the ability to gain intel that will allow you to make better decisions. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for increased probabilities of success. People are willing to pay for money if you can provide access to good information. And the last one is your convenience gap. People pay for convenience. And convenient doesn't necessarily mean less time. Convenient means people are enjoying the process of buying your product, what you have to offer, how you sell it, how it's presented. It's just very convenient. It's very easy. It's very simple. That's why things like Apple Pay work extremely well, or services like PayPal are very frictionless. Why? Because they're just convenient to use. They're very simple. If you can provide value and understand that there's a gap in convenience, like think about taxis, dude, so fucking inconvenient. Somebody provided the value of making that inconvenience disappear. Somebody solved that problem. And if you solve big problems, you make a lot of money. And you'd be surprised how much money there is in people having to save 10 minutes on a taxi, tens of billions of dollars and millions of rides a day. So this is just one example of the monetization possibility and opportunity that's connected with providing value and mitigating the distance and these gaps between the seller and the buyer. And of course, the objective, because ultimately people are not buying a product. Hear me out when I say this. People are not buying a product or a service. They're buying the objective. Listen to me, behind the product, behind the service, there's an objective. Somebody could go into a dealership and buy a Lamborghini for 10 different reasons. Somebody could buy a Lamborghini to gift it to his wife. Somebody could buy a Lamborghini because he just became a millionaire. Somebody could buy a Lamborghini because he's so rich that he's just buying another day toy to give it to his son. How you approach these people, how you identify the gaps in these people's lives and provide value in that way is how you make the sale. It's not about the product, it's about your ability to solve the problem. So now that you're able to solve the problem, you have the team that is kind of managing your monetization and making sure that your money is safe. We talked about your team. Now that you have your financial goals, you have financial literacy to make sure that your employees are managed. Now that you're making money, well then, my friend, you need to multiply your money, which we will cover in the next data set.